All right, we are going to start. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are tuning in from right now. If we have not met yet this week, my name is Joanna Smith, and I have the privilege of serving as the hospitality coordinator of undergraduate admissions at Wheaton College. We are so grateful that you are joining us today for the academic reception of natural sciences. And a few housekeeping items before I turn things over to our presenter, the Dean of Natural Sciences, Dr. Becky Eggeman. And so please take a moment to rename yourself in Zoom. This allows us to know who is on the call today and for us to send follow-up information to those who have tuned in. Also, please note that you all should be muted at this time. This simply ensures the quality of the call. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the chat and we will make sure that they are answered either on this call or shortly after. And also, if you have any tech issues, please let me know via the private chat function at the bottom right. And finally, we will be recording this session. So if that means that you would be more comfortable disabling the video feature of Zoom, we completely understand. So at this time, I'd like to turn it over to Dean Eggeman to get things started for us as we learn more about the natural sciences at Wheaton.
Thanks, Joanna. Hi, everybody. My name is Becky Eggeman. I am the Dean of Sciences here at Wheaton College. Not wearing my usual Dean attire. We decided to try to go with our Wheaton gear tonight, get you guys in the spirit of thinking about Wheaton College. I'm going to just do a few minutes of overview of our natural science programs, and I have a PowerPoint to help us walk through that. So I am going to attempt to share my screen. You'll bear with me here for a minute while we try to get that going. Okay, and then let me put it into present mode. All right. So hopefully you're seeing a nice shot of our campus with Blanchard Hall in the background and the front lawn leading up to that. If you are, then everything's working okay. All right, as I said, we are the science division. And as scientists at Wheaton, we are an institution that's really committed to our Christian faith and we exist for Christ and his kingdom. And that really extends for us into our work as scientists. So this first slide has a couple of verses from Colossians from chapter 1, talking about Jesus as really the creator and establishing him as the source of all things. He's before all things, and in him all things hold together. And you may not know it if you haven't had a chance to visit campus yet, but these words from this verse are etched into our building. They're actually physically on the building, on the outside of the building, and they appear in a variety of places throughout the building in some of the artwork that we have up. So I wanted to just put these up for you guys to really lay that foundation, and just to say that we do our work as scientists because God created. And we're motivated to study the work that God did and everything that he did in making the world as beautiful and as complicated and as interesting as it is. If you guys want to know more about how we approach faith as scientists, I've added a link there at the bottom of the slide. And that link is going to take you to a document that was written by scientists along with some philosophers and some theologians. And it really dives into all those details about how we think about the relationship between our Christian faith and the sciences. So as we go through this, you can just keep in mind that what we're doing is all about worshiping God, celebrating the work that Christ has done. In the sciences, we have 6 departments and 10 different programs. That doesn't include secondary ed. We have secondary ed options within each of our science departments. So if you're thinking about being a teacher, you can get your secondary education certification in any of the sciences that you see there. Each of these programs represents one of the kind of foundational disciplines in STEM. We have our applied health science, biology, chemistry. We have computer science programs, geology, environmental science, math, physics, all the good stuff. And then we also have 2 dual degree programs, one in engineering and one in nursing. The nursing program, I just want to give a special shout out to that tonight. We have a brand new option starting this coming fall for our students who are interested in nursing. You can do it's a type of dual degree in which you would end up getting a master's degree in the end. You get a bachelor's in nursing from Wheaton, and then you get a master's in nursing from Elmhurst College, which is just down the road. And this option lets you live on Wheaton's campus for all 4 years, and then you spend 1 more year at Elmhurst, and you end up with that master's. But if you're interested in the sciences, we have lots of programs and lots of options for you. We have some specializations within them. You can get a biochemistry emphasis if you're in the chemistry program. You can focus on statistics and mathematics. So we really, as a liberal arts college, we really cover all of the bases when it comes to STEM. So I'm sure you'll be able to find whatever it is that you're interested in. At Wheaton, we really pride ourselves on having engaged students and faculty. Our faculty are all committed Christians. They're all excellent teachers. And they really have to be able to work at Wheaton. And in addition to that, they do research. So all of our faculty have active research labs. The picture on the left there, you're actually getting to see a glimpse of students doing some research. And this emphasis on research, or this commitment to research that our faculty have, really contributes to the classroom and helps to enhance everything that you're learning. Our faculty are active in their fields, they're publishing, and they're bringing that work into the classroom. We also really love our students at Wheaton. We really have engaged, highly motivated students, and they're just a joy and a delight to work with. It's one of the highlights that faculty mention is always our great students. And we'd love to see many of you come and join that cohort and be part of that great group. There's something really special that happens when you bring together a group of people that is just really passionate about serving Jesus and motivated to learn, and you get all of that together in every class at Wheaton. If you haven't been to campus, we have an option for you to take a virtual tour and check out our building, the Meyer Science Center. The Meyer Science Center first opened in 2010, and it's got some state-of-the-art laboratory spaces. It's built with an open concept, so there's lots of light, lots of little nooks and places for you to study. It's also filled with state-of-the-art equipment. You've got a picture here of some of our labs in action, also our telescope, which sits on top of the building. We've got an observatory that's open regularly, so you can go see the stars while you're at Wheaton. So again, take that virtual tour and you'll get to see more of the cool stuff that's in our building. As scientists, we do our work in the lab primarily. And so we wanted to show you some images of some lab spaces. Again, we love the building. It's got a lot of neat places to do good work. Couple of things to notice here down at the bottom in the middle is our newest lab space. This is a design lab that is part of our engineering program. And it's a completely mobile space. So you can get in there and you can rearrange the tables and the chairs and the various workstations. And you can really use the classroom itself to motivate design and how you're thinking. Over there on the left, you've got Dr. Craig's plasma lab. You get to talk to Dr. Craig here in a little bit as well. So he uses that to study plasma physics. Scientists, of course, aren't limited to the laboratory. We also get out into the field. So this is the great outdoors. So if you're interested in the outdoors, we've got some science disciplines that are for you. The biologists, of course, like to look at all the flora and the fauna, all the animals and all the plants. Our geologists take several field trips around the Midwest and check out various geological formations and just interesting geology that's in the area. And then if you're interested in field science, one of the distinctives of Wheaton College is that we actually own a field station. So we're a college that has a science station out in the Black Hills. So just west of Rapid City, South Dakota, just inside the Black Hills National Forest. We have a facility. If you're a geology major, you get to go out there and spend a summer learning about the geology of the Black Hills. If you're not a geology major, you can go too. We offer a lot of science courses out there. Anything that is field related, there's a great option for you in the Black Hills. And you can find out more about the Black Hills and the things that go on out there. If you go to our website and you put Black Hills into the search bar, you'll get to a good page to give you more information. Because all of our faculty have active research labs, we're also very invested then in involving you guys in research with us. So doing mentored research. So you work alongside a faculty member, get in our labs, dig into the projects that we're working on, and really see the practical side of science and be able to do it hands-on. Research like that, where you're working alongside a faculty member, is considered a high impact practice in the field of education. Because it can be so transformative for students to get into a lab, to work with their own hands, see science in action as it's really practiced, big open-ended questions. All of those things are really helpful for you guys as you're thinking about what you want to do down the road, what careers you might want to get involved in, and whether or not a career in science is going to be for you. So because all of our faculty are doing research, we have lots and lots of projects. I've just put up some text there to show you all the different kinds of things that you could be involved in if you were interested in pursuing research as a science student at Wheaton. We also have a summer research program. So each summer, students who are interested in doing research can come to Wheaton for a dedicated 10-week program where you work alongside a faculty member, you live on campus, and you just spend 40 hours a week doing science. It's a lot of fun. There are some trips that the students do together, and there's a real cohort feel that happens in our summer. So think about getting involved with that if you decide to join us. Research really sets you up to be able to explore the more professional side of science. If you get some good results in the lab, you'll get an opportunity to go attend a professional conference. A lot of these pictures on this slide are from our Wheaton College students actually presenting at professional science meetings. These happen all over the country. Sometimes they even happen internationally. And we put our Wheaton students right in the mix of things and doing their presentations. It's also a great place to connect with some alumni. That picture at the bottom in the middle is chemistry majors from the earliest graduate was 1991, and then we spanned the years until a recent graduate. I think that was a 2014 grad, was the most recent grad in that picture. So lots of opportunities to develop not just your science knowledge, but also what it looks like to be a science professional. We also work closely with the Center for Vocation and Career. And their job at Wheaton is to help you think about what comes after Wheaton. So how can you take this degree that you're getting and translate that into a job, right? And to get out into the career world. They host events throughout the year to help you do some discerning about what it is you want to do with your life when you leave Wheaton and give you some opportunities to develop the skills that you need. Beyond research, we also encourage our students to get involved with internships, and these can take you well beyond Wheaton throughout the country and again, sometimes throughout the world. Just a couple things I want to highlight here. If you look on the bottom left in the middle there, that kind of the old guy in the picture, that is Francis Collins. And if you don't know that name, Francis Collins is a very outspoken Christian, and he is the director of the National Institutes of Health. So a really prestigious job in Washington, D.C. And the ladies that you see there with him are all Wheaton College students that were interning at the National Institutes of Health. So a fun opportunity for Wheaton students to get involved and to meet somebody who's kind of a celebrity in the right circles. In the middle there, we have a Wheaton grad from 2019, Ellie Tan, and she is working on the Madison Symmetric Torus, which is a crazy big instrument at the University of Wisconsin in Madison, and it's designed for studying plasmas in physics. So those are the kinds of internships and opportunities that you can get into. I should probably also plug Roger Weems down there on the right. He's a 1982 physics grad from Wheaton College, and it was his job after Wheaton He went and worked for NASA and eventually became the lead of the team that designed, built, and operated the Mars Curiosity rover, which you can see there in the picture. So one of the neat things about going to a place like Wheaton is that you get connected to our alumni network. And we have alumni all over the world in all kinds of jobs and all kinds of fields. And as you join that Wheaton College community, you join that network as well and get to benefit from their expertise and from their connections. Some of our internships, as I said, go international. And here are some images from some of those international internships. Over on the left, we have Sarah Camelone, a 2019, actually a Spanish major, but she was in the pre-health field. She's now in school for occupational therapy, so we saw a lot of her in our science classes. And she was in Quito, Ecuador, and she is working there with a child who had a condition called hydrocephalus. This is at a place called Camp Hope. And she was participating in our hunger program. So HNGR, we call hunger, Human Needs and Global Resources. And it's a 6-month international internship in your field of study. And so we've had some science students who have gone and have done these kinds of internships. After Wheaton, you all want to go to college because you want to do something after college. As much fun as college is, we're really thinking about what comes next. And here are just 3 little snapshots of some of the things our science grads have done. On the left, we have Meredith Triplett, who was a chemistry major, graduated from Wheaton in 2012. She went on and got a PhD in chemistry with a woman named Jennifer Doudna. And Jennifer Doudna, if you don't know, is one of the creators, developers, discoverers of CRISPR technology. So CRISPR technology is the technology that allows for gene editing. It's a fairly a significant technology. There's some controversy around it, some ethical questions that get raised. And Meredith has worked in that lab and is there as a Christian, helping to think about and offer a Christian perspective on some of those ethical considerations. In the middle there, we have Mallory Kinzik. She is a geology major from the class of 2015, and she went on to get a PhD in planetary science at the University of North Carolina. And what you see there is a model that she built of a dwarf planet that is just beyond Pluto. This dwarf planet was observed by the New Horizons spacecraft a couple years ago, and so she's pictured here with the mission director, Alan Stern. Then a little bit older graduate, Christina Anderson Texera, is a biology major from 2002, and she now does her biology for the Smithsonian Institute. So lots of options, lots of opportunity for you to take your Wheaton College science degrees and to put them to use in the world, and really to contribute to some of those challenging problems that you're hearing about on the news or that you're thinking about facing. So Wheaton can be a good place, and we hope that you would consider coming, joining us, and joining that great group of people. We also like to have some fun. So here we are showing the integration of science and fun. Our math department likes to celebrate Pi Day with pie. And what's interesting about the picture on the right, this is a group of biology students in a biology class. They were studying squids. And so after they were done studying and got to play with the squids and did some hands-on stuff, they took the squids and fried them and made calamari and ate them. So if that's your jam, we can do it here in our biology program. All right, so I've been talking a lot, and I'm going to stop there and end my slideshow. And then I'm going to turn things over to Betsy Leong. Betsy can give a little wave. There she is. Betsy is our secondary education science coordinator, and she also coordinates a lot of outreach stuff for us. And she's going to walk us through some questions for our faculty guests and our current Wheaton students. And they're going to give you an even more in-depth idea of what it's like to be a science major at Wheaton.
Hey everybody, this is so fun. I teach smaller classes, so I never have this many people in my virtual class sessions. This is very odd for me to have so many faces. Maybe Dr. Craig has more in his classes. Maybe. So we're going to do some faculty questions, and we're going to do some student questions. And when we first begin, I'm going to have the faculty introduce themselves. It should light up on their screen. It is really a nice presentation style. You can put it on speaker mode, and whoever is speaking will get really large on your screen when they're talking. So you can do that mode if you desire to see the person's face a little bit bigger. I'm an alum, so I have my alumna mug. I stole my child's koala bear. We were told to bring all of our Wheaton attire. And I have my Perry the Mastodon shirt, which is my favorite Wheaton shirt because we love Perry the Mastodon. And if you've been to campus and you've met Perry, she's fabulous. And she is our unofficial mascot. So we are going to start with our faculty. So faculty, if you can give a wave and then introduce yourself. So we'll start with Darcy. Will you introduce yourself, Darcy?
Yes, I'm Darcy Dalzell. I'm in the math department. My PhD is in statistics, so I do pretty much primarily stats and data science. I work on a lot of really interesting projects, anywhere from medicine, which I'm really interested in, to psychology, lots of other fields, especially in the natural and social sciences. So biology, I've done projects that are in both India and Rwanda, as well as here, and worked with a lot of students. As a Christian in data science, you can imagine there are a lot of issues that we need to think about. So I feel that students that are in my classes and that do research with me, we can talk not only about problem solving, which is the super fun part about data science and stats, just the puzzle of the whole thing, but also the bigger picture of being able to solve important problems, helping people, and doing it within a context of understanding humanity from God's perspective, and having a rich theology of, what are these, for example, machine learning algorithms can work, but they can also really hurt the poor. So how do you make sure you're answering your questions and solving your problems while respecting the image of God and all people that are going to be affected by these problems? So it's a great area to work in, and I've been able to do a lot of really interesting projects with students as well.
Thank you. Dr. Craig, you're up.
All right, good evening, everybody. I decided to come in. I've not been on campus for basically a month, but I decided to come into my lab tonight so you guys could get to see it. I don't know if you've had a campus tour or not, but even if you did, you probably didn't get to see my lab. So at the risk of making people sick in Zoom, I'm going to swivel around here and let you see the lab, okay? So this is the plasma physics lab where I do research with students. Back there's the vacuum chamber, some of our data acquisition equipment over there, tools and storage, my coat, that's not fascinating. Several computers back there where students will do research and collect data. Our system that operates everything at a push of a button that charges the capacitors and dumps them and takes data and all that. And over there's our high voltage capacitor bank. We keep that locked up in the cage just for safety purposes. So that's the quick tour of the plasma lab down here. I don't know if I said, but I'm Dr. Darren Craig, and I'm the chair of the physics and engineering department here at Wheaton. Been here, I think, 14 years now or something like that. Time goes by fast. I've loved working here. It's a great place to teach in great measure because there are great students here to work with. And Stephen McKay is on the call tonight. He was a research student of mine last summer. So he spent some time down in this lab making plasmas with me last summer and trying to understand them. And we have a paper that's been submitted to Physics of Plasma that's under review right now that he was a co-author on. So that's really cool. And I just have to also give a shout out that Stephen, we just heard recently, won the Goldwater Scholarship this year, which is really the most prestigious scholarship for a natural science student at the undergraduate level. So congratulations to Stephen on that. Very cool. Anyway, so plasma physics is my specialty area in research, ionized gases. Got into that sort of because there's the promise of fusion energy. If you take plasmas and make them 100 million degrees or so, you can get fusion reactions to happen. And you could power the world with very little waste and plentiful fuel, and all kinds of wonderful things could happen. Hasn't happened yet, still working on it. And then along the way, I also got interested in problems where the same science applies to situations in astrophysics. So the solar corona, for example, has these big eruptions that go on, and the physics that triggers that is something that we can study right here in the lab in this machine. So that's one of the things that we're interested in, something called magnetic reconnection, which is a way to get energy into plasmas from magnetic fields. So anyway, I better not say too much about all that.
This is good because you guys are doing great. I feel like I recognize some of the names on here from our STEM day in the fall too. So that's sort of exciting that I see some people that I actually recognize. And our last faculty member is Candace. Give a wave, Candace, so they can see you.
Well, good evening. I'm so glad that you're all here. And I have the privilege of working with students across majors here at Wheaton, particularly in the natural sciences, but also I'm not particular to just natural science. So work with students who have a desire to go into a healthcare field after their time at Wheaton, or if they want to pursue one of our dual degree programs within nursing, I am the individual who works with students to help them achieve that goal at the end. And Piper is one of my students. Well, I share so many students with all freely, but I do call them mine. And I wish I should have gone into my office, though all of the fun things that are in my office you couldn't enjoy. We try to be the best office on campus that has the best snacks for students, no matter who you are. And so, like, lots of heads nodding. Even if you are not health professions, you are still welcome. And my office coordinator bakes all of the time. So we just love to be a very welcoming environment to any student and here to you on the first floor. So, but my role is to help facilitate the taking of different classes, understanding the classes that you need, how your major choice affects the classes that you need to take to get into medical school or physical therapy school, help students with the research. So the different research options that you've seen before that Dr. Eggeman talked about and that our faculty spoke to too, how to integrate some of those experiences and speak to them well and talk about them when you interview for professional school and not just research, but other experiences, whether they're healthcare related or not, how to speak to those experiences, how you've developed and grown as a person and how you can speak to that in the future. And also talk about yourself and who you are, how to talk about your faith potentially in an interview environment too, and really encourage students to be wise personally in the choices that they make about when to apply, where to apply, how to use your resources, your time, energy, and your finances, because it is quite an expensive endeavor in moving on to professional school. So just really help students make sense of all of those decisions.
Thank you. I do something sort of similar to Candace. I'm the secondary ed coordinator, so I work similarly with all of the majors that want to pursue secondary education in a science, which is a double major at Wheaton. And so we have many teachers. Science teachers are in high demand. I talk to Dr. Craig as the physics department chair all the time about how we need more physics teachers. He's working on it. So you guys have, or the faculty, the three of you have already sort of talked about some of the benefits to studying STEM at Wheaton. So I'm just going to open it up and sort of say, you know, what are the benefits to sort of studying STEM at a Christian institution, and maybe what's something that you have found to be, you know, Dr. Craig, you were like, I've been here a while, like time's flown, like we love working here at the college. I think all of us that are faculty and staff on this call right now just absolutely love working here. So something about the benefit of studying at Wheaton, and also, you know, maybe something about your favorite part about teaching here or working here, besides the great students.
I can go. So I'll just give an example because I think this is telling in a lot of ways. So because of a lot of us faculty live fairly close to campus, and we have relationships with students. I don't know how many I've had in my house because they can walk there. Our classes tend to be smaller, so we get to know our students really well. We go to lunch, they come to our office hours or just to chat. I take lots of walks with students because I like to do that. And what that means is that the types of relationships that we have are very different than what you would have at a bigger school. And the fruit of that, I'll give you an example of. So I had 3 women that I was pretty close to. They were juniors 2 years ago. I just graduated in May, and I had this really neat opportunity come up at the University of Iowa. So I sent them to the University of Iowa in the summer to work with a professor there on radiomics, which is the use of, well, radiomics is about taking pictures of, in this case, it was lung cancer. So medical imaging, and the goal is to identify tumors as benign or malignant. So I sent them to Iowa for the summer, and then they came back and we worked all fall in a class together. So I had a class, which means I had a teaching load portion just to work with these 3 students, which is it's very unusual and really special here at Wheaton that those opportunities crop up on a regular basis. And that project was super successful. Not only did we finish the project, we wrote a paper, we published a paper in a scientific peer-reviewed journal. You can find it online. And of those 3 young women, 2 of them are now in graduate school in biostats. So, I mean, talk about, for somebody like me who gets really excited about what I do because I think my projects are so stinking interesting, to get a student all the way from the beginning, give them an experience at another college, introduction to other faculty there, and to get them so jazzed about it that they want to do this for their career is like, I'm done, you know. So, and the reason that can happen is because I don't have 500 students. I have a smaller number of students, and I can get to know a group of those students on a really deep level. And we, not only did we do research together, but I know them really well. I did a lot of praying with them about the struggles they were going through. One of my students, her fiance, or her now fiance, had cancer. I mean, I walked with her through that entire process because I was the one here. You know, her parents were far away. So that's just, for me, that's that makes it worth it. You know, that's so special. So I love that about being here.
Thank you.
Yeah, I could say, so I am not a product of Christian liberal arts myself. I went to Michigan State University, big school, secular school. Got a great education there in physics, actually, I would say. Did a lot of research as an undergraduate there, really enjoyed that. Went to University of Wisconsin-Madison for my PhD, another big school, also a great school. I got a great education.
I got my master's.
Yeah, it's a good place. Go Bucky, right?
Go Bucky,
anyway,
yeah.
So I think I got a great education at those schools, and I'm not ashamed to say that, but I missed out on something. I didn't really appreciate that so well until I came to Wheaton, I think. And the difference here is we're not just interested in training you to be a great physicist or biologist or medical practitioner. We want to train the whole person. It's a different kind of educational model. So I put this in mathematical terms when I talk to a lot of prospective physicists and engineers because math is our language. So in terms of dimensionality, a lot of schools will take your brain or yourself and stretch it in this technical dimension really well. But you won't get stretched very far in the arts, in the philosophy, in the theology, in your personhood. And all those things matter for the rest of life after you graduate. We survey our engineering alums, and we ask them, 1 or 2 years out, was it worth it to do this 5-year program? It's 3 years at Wheaton, 2 years elsewhere. Is it worth it to do that? Do you see the value of the liberal arts on the job? And actually about 1 year out, they kind of say, well, maybe a little bit, not so sure. But if you survey 5 or 10 or 15 years out, that goes way up to everybody saying, oh yes, I wish I would have had a lot more. Because when you start managing people, working with customers, leading things in your church, leading your own family, spending your leisure time in a God-honoring way, all these things require a whole person education that you just don't get in the place like I went in Michigan State. So I think it's a real value.
You're here, Dr. Craig. Candace, do you have anything to share?
I can. I mean, I certainly echo both what they said and would share. I could share many, many stories of getting to know students. One, I think, is not just me, but others that we visit students when they are doing human needs global resources. I visited 3 students who were studying abroad in Uganda this past fall and really got to know them. I had dinner with one of the students who lived on campus in Uganda 5 times in my 8-day stay. I've never gotten to do that. Even with a student here on campus, to have dinner with her. I mean, maybe I think she was legitimately wanting to do that. But we got such deep conversations, and it was so praying with the 3 women that were there, and I'm excited to do it again next year when there'll be more students coming as a part of that global health emphasis program in Uganda. So we desire to get to know our students and do that even outside of Wheaton's walls too.
Yeah, I mean, imagine all of you are in high school right now, and imagine if each of your high school teachers saw you as being made complete and whole in the image of God, and how that would transform the type of learning that you received. Maybe some of you do, but imagine what that would be like, because that is what the professors at the college are here. We see each of our students as being made whole and complete in the image of God, and we want you to feel whole and complete. And so, I mean, Candace and Darcy, Darren, Becky, I see Mary Erickson on here. Man, when you come, you're just gonna love Mary. And just all the office coordinators. It's just everybody on campus is so great. And so I'm gonna shift due to time and let you guys meet our students, because we have several students on our call. I don't wanna miss anybody. So when I sort of call on you, get a little wavesy, so they know who you are. Haley, where are you, Haley?
I'm here.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, Haley. Give us your major, your year.
I'm a math major, and I'm a minor in the computer science department. I'm a senior, so I graduate soon. What am I doing? I am going to Purdue in the fall to do a PhD program in math, focusing in topology. What else have I done? I studied in Budapest last fall, so I got a really great study abroad experience doing a math program there. I'm from Connecticut. Yeah, I also participated in theater.
Haley, if we were on campus in real life, it is real life, but if we were on campus, where would we find you other than the math department, which is obviously your favorite place? But where would we find you on campus?
I spent a lot of time in the theater. So I worked in the costume shop in the theater. And so, when there were shows, we spent, 15 hours in there making costumes. And it's a great community, a really great group of people. I can't act. I'm awful. But I still got to be a part of that community doing costumes. So.
Arena theater. Love it. Love it. Sophia, you're at the bottom of my screen. I don't know if you're at the bottom of other people's screen, but give a wave, Sophia.
Hi.
All right, same sort of thing. Name, major, year, and where would we find you?
Yeah, so I am a senior geology major, and I also have a math minor. And I'm from Lincoln, Nebraska. You would find me, either in the basement in the geology department, in Saga with my friends, or out running on the trails because I'm on the cross country and track team. So, yeah.
Love it. Love it. All right, Piper, you're kind of in the middle of my screen. Give a wave, Piper, and sort of same questions.
All right, I'm Piper. I am from Iowa City, Iowa. I'm a senior also, graduating this May, and I'm majoring in applied health science, and then I will be going to medical school this fall at the University of Iowa. So I'm very excited for that. And you would probably find me either, like Sophia said, in Saga with friends. I really like to just kind of hang out there and have long lunches or dinners, or probably just hanging around Lower Beamer. It's a fun place to be. So
I love that. And of course, Stephen, our award recipient and physicist. We know that you're a physics major. Stephen, give a wave so they can see you, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey, everybody. I'm from Nashville, New Hampshire. I'm a junior, so I might be the only junior. And physics and math major. Hoping to do grad school after Wheaton. And when I'm not in class or doing homework, I like to go. I spend a lot of time in the student center, like just hanging out with people or getting meals, like other guys are saying. And then one night a week, usually, I get to work in the observatory. I'm one of the TAs for it, so that's a lot of fun. anybody can do it. So if you come to Wheaton, you can work up there, run the telescopes and everything. So
Anybody can do it.
really, yeah.
Okay, so I have 2 questions, and I'll get a couple of you to answer each one. So I'm not going to have all 4 of you answer all the questions. So the first question is, while Wheaton is a distinctively Christian school, it's not perfect. There is also a misconception that science and your faith are at a tension with each other. We know that's not true. And so how has your faith grown while studying STEM at Wheaton? But also, what's been challenging about studying STEM at Wheaton? What's been challenging for your faith at a distinctively, studying STEM in a distinctively Christian school? So I'll just have a couple of you answer that, and then we'll go to the next one.
I
you,
can
Piper.
answer at least the first part of that question. I think one of the most impactful things for me being at Wheaton has been studying the human body through my applied health science major. One of the coolest experiences I think I had throughout college was in the human anatomy lab. We have 4 cadavers that we get to dissect, which is a really big privilege as undergrads. And it was just amazing to be able to see how God created humans, and just seeing how there are so many different muscles and bones, and how everything really has to work together to function. So just seeing what a cool way God has designed us, and just his really intelligent creation. And I think another part, how my faith has grown, is just that professors are really willing to talk about the hard questions, and they're not going to avoid them. And so I think a lot of, good discussions with professors about questions I'm wondering about has really made an impact on me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Piper. Does one more of you guys want to share either how your faith has grown or been challenged during your time at Wheaton?
I can.
Thank you, Stephen.
Kind of piggybacking on what Piper said, I think for me coming into Wheaton, I didn't come in like declaring any kind of science major. And part of the reason for that was I had this kind of, in my mind, it wasn't so much like a faith and science being in conflict question, but I wasn't quite convinced that a science major could be like a fully worthwhile, like God honoring career. But I think it didn't take that long for me to like in classes to realize that we weren't just talking about science as like something you do just to like get a job, or something you do just to like get an education about this because you're good at it. Like it's actually like a way to worship God, and it's like our faith and our science and like our practice are not like divorced in any way in any of our classes. And then like when it comes to the tough questions, which I also was wrestling with, like how do we reconcile the things we see in the natural world with our understanding of scripture? I had the really cool privilege of, as Dr. Craig mentioned it, that I did research with him over the summer. And one of my favorite parts about that was that we read, he and I and some of the other research students and professors, we read this book called Can a Scientist Believe in Miracles? By a Christian, well-respected plasma physicist. And it's basically just like, we got to talk through just like a lot of really hard questions from a Christian worldview. And I don't know, it was like just surrounded by so many people who believed the same things I did and cared about the same questions. And we really got to like dive into really difficult questions, which Piper, you were also saying. But yeah, I've really loved that.
I love it. Dr. Craig he sat still too long and the lights turned off in his lab. That always makes me laugh when you're in a meeting with a student and the lights turn off in your office. Okay, so Haley and Sophia, you get the next question. So I want you to bust a myth about studying STEM at Wheaton, something that you think it's like a misconception. Bust the myth that, you're always in Meyer science and you never leave and you never get to do anything else, or, but anything that you are thinking about, bust a myth about studying STEM, or if you have any advice for any of these prospective students.
Okay, I can start. I don't know that I can like wellly word a myth, but I think that a lot of people think that if you're in a like kind of STEM program, that's kind of all you can do. So as like a math student being a part of the theater, people are always really surprised. And especially like some of the education programs, like that doesn't seem like people are as surprised, but if you're not doing education and you're doing purely STEM and trying to go to grad school and do research, people tend to be really surprised if you do other things. But I have found that like the years that or the semesters that I haven't done other things are my like least productive, least successful semesters, because it's healthy to have other outlets, whatever that is, whatever you're passionate about. So I guess my advice would be like, make sure when you come in, you find something that you really love, some sort of community. There's a lot of communities at Wheaton, which was one of my favorite things about it. So it's not hard to find somewhere where you feel like you're wanted and seen and loved and supported, and that's really important.
I love that. While Sophia is thinking about her myth that she's going to bust, I'm going to encourage the faculty to look at the comments, because we have some questions that have appeared that are specific to your different disciplines. So give those a quick glance, because after Sophia chats, I'm going to have the Q&A start. And if you have a question, pop it in the, Joanna, is that right? If they have a question, they should pop it. She's nodding. Pop it in the comment section. Mm-hmm. Lovely. So you can type your question in there. We have some already rolling. So Sophia, you're up, dear. What is the myth that you would like to bust about being a STEM major?
All right. Well, I don't know if I can bust the myth that you're going to always be in Meyer, because that might be true. But one thing I think it's easy to get discouraged about as a STEM major at a liberal arts school is that you feel like there aren't any research opportunities, and you feel like, yeah, like you don't have as many opportunities to like prepare for grad school. And I would say that that's like definitely not true. If you are going to be willing to take the initiative, there's plenty of faculty members who would love to get you involved with what they're working on. And you can also reach out to other opportunities outside of Wheaton, such as like summer REU programs, and just taking advantage of other institutions as well. So yeah, and the faculty have been so supportive. They love to write you letters of rec for whatever you want to apply for. So yeah.
So good. Joanna, how do you want to run the Q&A? How does this work? Can we just go down the list?
Yeah, I'll go from the list, and I encourage everyone to continue to insert their questions, because I do see that we have gone over a little bit of time, and we respect your time, and we are grateful that you have been able to attend this session with us. But if you do feel the need to leave, feel free to do that. So yeah, Anna Dakotas is asking, I was wondering if there's any information about the IDS biotechnology program. What does the program focus on specifically, and how is it different than other science majors at Wheaton?
Since we don't have a biologist on the call, maybe I'll just jump in and try to field that. Oh yeah. Sorry, Betsy.
Just wanted to represent. I saw those flora fauna comments, and I felt that there was a little bit of sass coming from the chemist about the flora and fauna.
Well, maybe
that we so do love them.
All right. So you want to field this? You want to talk about biotechnology?
No, I don't want to talk about it because you're the dean, but I just wanted to represent all the biology interested students out there.
All right. So we do have an interdisciplinary study degree in biotechnology, and the way the interdisciplinary study degree works is that you have a real role in shaping your degree and defining your degree. So interdisciplinary study means you're going to take courses from lots of different buckets. So I will admit that I don't have the specific details of the biotechnology program fresh in my mind. So I don't know exactly where all the courses are coming from. I know there's some chemistry. I know there's some biology. There's likely some physics. And you're going to take those courses, and you're going to take along with them, you're going to take some courses from across the rest of campus, maybe some philosophy, maybe some theology. It's going to be a very integrative degree. And you're going to get to make some choices along with your advisor in IDS about those integrative pieces and how those pieces are going to all pull together. So it's really self-directed in the sense that you make some of those decisions, and then you have to write a rationale for why you want to get this degree in the way that you want to get it. So it's the kind of degree where you have a lot of ownership, but it's also one where you really, because you have that ownership, you really feel like it's yours. So it's a really interesting approach to a major at Wheaton. There is a kind of prescribed set of courses with biotechnology. There's other ways that you can do IDS as well. It's really kind of open-ended. So sorry that I can't give you the details right off the top of my head. But if you want to follow up with me or with Betsy on that question, we will look them up in the catalog and we'll get you those details.
Great. Okay. So Katia has, what is the main difference between the biology and applied health science majors? Which track would be better geared for the MCAT and for the entrance into medical school?
All right, I'm geared for this one. So I answer this question a lot. So applied health science, as Piper shared, is really the study of the human body, body movement, function, also nutrition, epidemiology. It's a very diverse group of looking at like whole body, whole human being health. And you focus there. Really, human body biology is spread out variety of areas within biology. So you're studying plants, you can study the human body and take anatomy and physiology through the biology department, but you're also studying ecology, cells, organisms, microbiology. So you have the whole gamut of biology to study there. In my opinion, and by talking to alumni, there is no one major at Wheaton that better prepares you for taking the MCAT or the DAT than any other. All of the majors, so if you want to be in medical school, you take classes from biology, you take classes from chemistry, you could take applied health science classes, whether you're an AHS major or not. So, and really, I don't know of any student who's been a biology and applied health science major. So no one has the best of both worlds. So no one really knows which one better prepares you. And because I think they both do. Both sets of faculty prepare students incredibly well. I hear back from alumni all the time that they are incredibly prepared for the coursework that they have in medical school based upon what they've done here at Wheaton. And that's whether they're a bio major or applied health science or chemistry or physics, math, and any of them. You're still taking classes in all those disciplines. So I encourage students to choose an area of study that you like and enjoy and feel like you are going to do well in, because you want to do well in all of your classes. You'll take the sciences that you have to anyway. So there are students that study all of them. So there's not just one perfect major to go to medical school or any professional program.
Great, thank you. Sophia is asking, how does the engineering program work and how many students are in the program?
Yeah, great question, Sophia. So our engineering program, we graduate 10 or so majors a year. So total in the program right now, I think we have about 80. We had a big group come in this last year, about 25 or something, first-year students interested in engineering. So our numbers probably will be going up in the next few years in terms of total students, if that keeps up, which would be great. Why would you want to do this program? I think the main reason you want to do this program, the 3-2 program in engineering, is if you're having trouble deciding, you know, I want that small Christian liberal arts community, the great, you know, gospel-centered stuff and the great people there and all that, small college feel, small class sizes. But I also would like all the stuff of the big engineering school. I mean, lots of technical electives to choose from, industry partnerships, fancy labs, all that kind of stuff. With our program, you get some of both. So you do 3 years at Wheaton, You take all your kind of general education coursework. You take physics and math and chemistry and some lower division engineering courses. We teach 9 of them here at Wheaton, all with hands-on projects in a smaller class. You get all the benefits of the small college in the first 3 years. And then you get all the benefits of the big engineering school in the last 2 years. So you can finish with any engineering program that has ABET accreditation. ABET is the organization that accredits those programs, and you can work with any of them. About half of our students finish with a local school like Illinois Tech here in Chicago. The other half will go all over the country to places from New Jersey all the way to California schools. So there's a lot of variety, a lot of different engineering disciplines you can do with the 3-2 program. We're not just limited to mechanical or civil. You can do lots of different kinds of engineering. We have one student that's finishing a textile engineering program right now, which is very specialized. No way a small college anywhere else could pull that off. I mean, you have to do a 3-2 program to be able to pull stuff like that off. So that's just a quick snippet. I don't know if that hits your question, Sophia, but feel free to reach out to me later by email. I'd be happy to answer more specific questions. You can check out our website too, www.wheaton.edu/engineering. We'll give you lots of answers.
Thank you very much. David Lee is asking, is there a lot of overlap between the math and computer science major?
Yep. I can elaborate. Yeah, there's a lot of overlap. You know, they're like right here, the computer scientists. So we have a lot of students who double major in math and computer science. We have a lot of students who have majors in math who double in other disciplines. And we have the major minor combos on both sides. I would say in general, everybody these days needs to code and needs to be able to code. I'm technically, as a statistician, which is historically more of a mathematical discipline, I'm on the math side, but I code all the time. I don't have a lab like Dr. Craig, but I have a super fast computer. I actually have 2 super fast computers, and I just got them, and I'm having so much fun. They're so fast. I have a Mac Pro, which is the super new Mac. Anyway, it's pretty cool. But we have a lot of students who do both, and they benefit from both. So the computer scientists really need the math background, just like Dr. Craig was saying, the physicists, the language of physics is mathematics. But all of us need to be able to work with data these days, or let me say most of us need to be able to work with data. So learning how to code in various different languages has become very valuable. So I actually teach a lot of STEM majors just for, say, intro stat or intro to data science, just to give them the coding skills that they need, even at a basic level, can have a really high impact in their ability to work in other fields like chemistry or medicine, etc.
Sorry about that. We'll end with our last question from Julia. What does it look like to balance a varsity sport and a STEM major? I'm specifically AHS.
I can answer that unless someone else waves their hands and wants to jump in. It's totally doable. And I say that because I think all of us as faculty and staff know so many varsity athletes. So many. Lab ends in time for a lot of practice, but we offer morning, afternoon, and evening lab. So for all of our majors, we have a lot of athletes that will sign up for morning lab. Unless you're a hockey player, and then maybe you sign up for evening lab because your ice time is at like 5 in the morning. And so we every single varsity sport. I feel like I've met an athlete from every single varsity sport. Students, nod your heads. Do you know a lot of varsity athletes? Yeah. So I mean, it is really, really, really common. The class schedules are accommodating, but you have to plan ahead, which is why you have great advisors who know the class schedule, and you have students who do meet and greets. Every single department has like a kind of communal time where freshmen can talk to upperclassmen. There's new freshman advisors that will help incoming freshmen get their schedules sort of put together, knowing that you have a varsity sport to work around and that practice schedule or game schedule. And then all of the coaches are well aware of how to integrate in any kind of varsity sort of commitment that you have. And they very strongly highlight that you are a student athlete. You are a student first and an athlete second. And I say that strongly because when you graduate, I don't mean to be mean, no one is going to hire you because you are the quarterback of the football team. They will hire you because you have a degree in engineering. And so, or whatever your field is. See, some faculty may not agree with me. So, but I'm saying that it is completely doable. And we meet athletes from every single sport, male, female, club sports, and extracurriculars, because although varsity sports are very high commitment, so is college union, men's glee, concert choir, the conservatory, arena theater, looking at you, Haley. And we have students that are trying to do things like squeeze in an abroad program. So they will kind of condense courses so that they have time to do something like Hunger or go to, Beijing to do their business econ minor or whatever it is that they're looking to do. So any of you 4 students have anything that you want to add to that, being the ones that are actually involved in the extracurriculars, or maybe you have a roommate or friend or someone? It's doable. You can do it. Dean Eggeman, right? They can do it. Totally. She says totally.
Yeah.
I can read her lips.
I'll add that it's totally doable, and I was on varsity track and cross country, and it's just like you just get into the routine of it, and less productive after my sport has ended because I'm not in that rhythm anymore. So yeah, it's totally doable.
Sophia, were you a morning lab person?
Yep.
See?
7:30.
I taught morning lab, and I felt like I had 2/3 of my lab were varsity athletes when I taught lab. So, and that's other profs. Is that normal for you guys? If you teach morning lab, you get a lot of athletes. Yeah. So, doable. Do it. Get involved. Men's glee, concert choir, women's chorale, concert, college union, orientation committee.
Well, thank you. I think this Q&A went so well, and I appreciate our faculty and students and staff and Dean Eggeman for holding this session, the natural sciences session. So all you committed and admitted students, I encourage you to sign up for our student reception April 28th, and also encourage you to tell your parents about the admitted student parent reception that we have Thursday, April 16th. I will send a follow-up email with the links pertaining to this session, and we'll be including some of those other links as well. So be sure to keep your eye out for emails, text messages from your admissions counselors and current students. And if you have not opted in texting, please feel free to reach out to me. And I hope you all have a great night. Thank you.